everybody for coming, and this is Kim Claver, and I am introducing Dr. Heidi. As many of you know, she has a doctorate in education from Harvard, and she is a professor of nutrition here in California at JFK University, and she's become a student, I guess, of the yo-yo diet for the last 30 years or so. And I am somebody who's known her. In fact, we met at Harvard, so we've known each other even more than 30 years. And I am delighted to be able to present her to you who don't know much about her. And of course, I see a lot of folks here that know her already, because she's somebody who has an approach to eating and losing weight and looking good that is not like many that I have seen. And number one is for people who are really food junkies. If you love to eat, if you love good wines, good creams, good meats, just good stuff, and you're not somebody who wants to eat rabbit food, this is somebody that you want to listen to. Secondly, it's somebody who focuses more on health in terms of what you eat than anything else. And the reason is that if your body's not healthy, according to what she's discovered, it's impossible to lose weight unless you take the knife to whatever you've got, just because your body is responsible for doing all the fat burning. And if it's not working, well, then it isn't going to burn the fats like a broken furnace. And the third thing is that she's somebody who makes things customized to people so that no matter what your issues are, you have some opportunity to get further along than you were before, whether it's getting some of your health back and your rashes go away, which has happened to countless of her students, or whether you're pretty much okay inside and you just need to stoke up your fat-burning furnace. She's also a really fun person. She's somebody who's been a size 6 for the last 15 years that I've known her. And it's as easy for her to get fat looking at food as it is for anybody else. So don't think that she's like a skinny person, because she's not. But she manages to keep it all together because she has these principles that when it's time, boom, turn it on. Here comes the ER fat burn, and that's what she's going to be eating and doing without ever giving up the sumptuousness of wonderful, good, basic food. So this is going to be a little 20-minute, maybe 25-minute presentation to give you some tips and some surprises about healthy foods that some of you may be eating, and you're wondering, how come I'm not getting skinny eating all these healthy foods? I mean, after all, if you've gone from white rice to brown rice and you don't see a difference, then why bother? May as well eat the white, ricey, trashy stuff, right? Or if you've gone from white Wonder Bread to brown bread and you can't figure out what's going on, or you're eating a lot of fruit. There are a lot of surprises that she's discovered in 20 years of doing this, and I'm always delighted to hear what they are, no matter what they are. And this one, in this session, you tell me at the end, but she has a really surprising bit of finding about pork that I would be willing to bet the cost of the program, there's nobody here on this call who knows it. So now I've done it. All right, so let me introduce Dr. Heidi. And can all of you all can see that first screen, who else was a fat kid in school? At the bottom there, that's Dr. Heidi. And let me pass her to you right now. Dr. Heidi.
Hey, thanks, Kim. I am just so delighted to be here and excited to be here, because I've been on sabbatical from teaching, ER programs nonstop. I taught the ER programs nonstop for 3 years, as some of you who've been with me for the 3 years know. And before that, I was 10 years, in a clinic working with clients day in, day out on weight loss. Weight loss and all the other little troubles they brought in with the weight. So being on sabbatical last year was just a delight. But, I was starting to get bored. I was starting to miss you. So here I am, and it's really very exciting to be back. And, Kim, like only Kim can do, has persuaded me to to be called a fat kid. I tell you, it's been 45 years since I was called a fat kid, walking ball no less. And here it is on a slide, and I don't know if I'll ever live it down, but Kim, thank you for releasing me, from really hiding all of this. Let's see if I can even do this. I'm trying to get to the next slide. I practiced this afternoon, but it's not doing it. Hey, Kim, let me call her and see if I'm doing the wrong thing. Here. Aha. Okay. Well, I didn't look quite that bad. Well, quite that fat, shall we say. But, you know, it was pretty close. The feeling of my body was pretty close. And that's why they called me Walking Ball. I mean, my God, they called me Walking Ball from first grade all through, um, God, my junior year in high school. It was really pretty awful. But I got used to it after a while and pretty rebellious. But it did, I think I can now be grateful for it because it really fueled a passion to do this, to do weight loss. And now I can tell you I like this happy ending here. This is me, and I do look like that. And I am a size 6, and I've been a size 6 for the last 15 years. You know, it's wonderful because I don't have to buy new clothes every year. I don't, you know, I'm wearing clothes. This blouse that you see here is probably, my goodness, maybe 10 years old. Anyway, I'm happy. But, you know, it wasn't a straight path. It wasn't easy. And, you know, it was like this path here. Kim found this beautiful picture of a winding road. And she said it reminded her of what I've been telling her, how I got to where I am right now in terms of ER and what I teach. So it was a winding road. And I'm so glad there was light at the end of the tunnel, like that sun that you see. But, you know, I still am through all of this. I have been a foodie for ever since I can remember, ever since I was a kid. Uh, I loved butter and cream and steaks and sauces and good wine. In fact, when I was a kid, my mom, you know, she thought she was going to get me to stop eating all the desserts that I loved, you know, the custards and the flans. And she gave me a whole flan. It was like 8 inches in diameter and said, okay, it's all yours to eat. And she was fully expecting I would throw up, but I didn't. Anyway, stuff like that happened all the time because I loved butter and cream, and I still do. Eating a pat of butter is one of my favorite fast snacks. You know, I go to the fridge, cut off a pat of butter, put it in my mouth, and I'm happy. No more hunger, and I can get very irritable when I'm hungry. Anyway, Kim persuaded me to tell you that the beginning of my weight loss career was when I was in Madrid. I had gained 30 pounds because I was eating all this, you know, Spanish food and café con leche and big cookies and 5-course lunches and taking naps and all of that. And I had gained 30 pounds in 3 months. And this guy from the Philippines called that you know, was an old flame. And my God, I was 30 pounds overweight and I nearly had a heart attack. So what did I do? I asked, what should I do? I didn't know anything about dieting because I didn't want to diet. But somebody said, do Metrocal. Do you remember Metrocal? I can still taste it. You know, this was like, my God, what, 40 years ago. More than 40 years ago. It was 45 years ago. But here I was, just totally freaked out, you know, that he would not even recognize me and would make fun of me, that I did the Metrocal. It was like 4 cans of Metrocal each day. It was coffee flavored, and I did nothing else, nothing except water past my lips for 45 days. And I lost the 30 pounds. I lost the 30 pounds, and he was in Madrid. Probably he stayed for about 2 weeks, and I survived it. And after he left, what happened? I gained it all back. I mean, I just gained it all back and more. It was horrible. It was horrible. And that really started the off and on of dieting because I couldn't stand it. You know, after I had lost the 30 pounds with the Metrocal, I figured, well, I can just go on it again. And I did it, you know, over and over. And as those of you know who have done Slim Fast or some starvation diet, it just all comes back. And so this is really this wonderful collage is what Kim put together, what I told her I had been through, you know, these last really 24 years. And that is, I started with Metrocal on and off all the while I was in Spain. That was my, every time I wanted to look good, I do that. And then that of course led to the low cal and the low fat. I'm sure many of you have done the semi-starvation diet and have counted the drops of oil you could put in your dressing. I was doing that all the time, and of course yo-yoing all the time. And then came the Mediterranean diet. It's been around for a long time, and even up to now my clients, my students, do the Mediterranean diet. It's as if it's a law that somehow this is the healthy way to lose weight. And that's the mantra of the Mediterranean diet is fruits, vegetables, legumes, and grains. And those of you who have been through ER know that except for vegetables, the other three foods on the Mediterranean diet are fattening, shall we say. Well, Fit for Life, I won't go through this all, but I fell in love with the Fit for Life and the vegan way of life that Marilyn and Harvey Diamond introduced. Believe it or not, I was a vegan for 12 years, and the last 2 of those years I was a raw foodist. Totally raw. I didn't cook anything because I was a fanatic. I've always been a fanatic about my food. And so I was a vegan fanatic, and let me tell you, it was pretty awful for the people around me. And then I got some religion and got the low carb, and that's a story in itself. And let me tell you, over those years, there really were two main incidents that I should be embarrassed by, but I'm not anymore since the ending is happy. But there were 2 incidents that really changed my life, and they gave me, when I look back, they were hard, but they gave me my size 6 back, and they made my clients happy, happy. But both of these incidents were despite myself. They were totally, as the slide said, against my will, because I was just dead set against what I ended up really doing. I'll tell you the story here. I had a couple of clients, both of them left my program. I was doing a program and doing something I called the body composition program. With all the portion control, I had all kinds of forms for my poor clients to tack up on their fridge, counting the number of half cups of beans that they might have that day. All the forms specified. I was, again, very precise about all this. I'd make charts for them for each one and customize their charts so that they wouldn't eat 1 bean more than they should. And a couple of my clients left. They'd say lose a pound or 2 a month. And they just kept on because they believed that they were eating healthy food and they were losing a pound or 2 a month. But those are like the statistics that you get from the government, for the usual weight loss programs. Anyway, these 2 clients left, and guess what happened? They left for 2 months and they came back. One of them called me one week and said, "Hey, guess what? I've lost 25 pounds. And I said, "No." I said, "Congratulations, and how did you do that?" And she told me, and lo and behold, a couple of days later, this other client called me and said the same thing. "I've lost 19 pounds in the last couple of months." And I asked them, "How did you do that?" Because previously they had been losing like 2 pounds. And guess what? They both said exactly the same thing. And they both said just one word. It was Atkins. They said, "It's Atkins. It's Atkins." And I had been poo-pooing Atkins, of course, and they were kind of not wanting to tell me, but then also very gleefully telling me, "Hey, it's Atkins. It's the guy that you have poo-pooed all this time." So I opened my brain. I opened my brain. And, as you know, my big thing was no toxic food, clean food all the time. So what did I do? I put clean food and low carb together. I refused to give up clean food because I knew that it was health giving. I had had a bout of cervical cancer in my early 30s, and I will never ever go back to toxic food or or eat sugar because it feeds cancer. But anyway, I what I did was I put the clean food and the low carb together and called it for a long time non-toxic Atkins, because at that time Atkins was really in his heyday. And I said, I'm doing a non-toxic Atkins. So I got 12 clients together, 12 of my clients together who had been plodding along with my body composition diet, and said, would you like to do something exciting, something new? How about we do non-toxic Atkins for a month? So I put them on non-toxic Atkins for a month. And they enjoyed no more portion control. Yeah, it's no more portion control. You know, with non-toxic Atkins, you don't have to measure your beans or your rice or your fruit or your vegetables or your meat or anything like that. We didn't count anything. True, Atkins requires, you know, less than 20 carbs, 20 net carbs per day, but you don't have to count. You just, I could tell them, just eat 2 small salads, and that's it for your veggies, 2 small salads or 1 small bowl of non-starchy greens, and the rest, fish, meat, cheese, all of that. So that was really, really easy, and they loved it. They weren't doing portion control, they weren't counting anything, and the best was they weren't starving. Because on this previous, you know, body composition diet or the Fit for Life or all of these things, the rule was really almost semi-starvation. And guess what? The 12 clients, they were just out of their minds. They lost 10 to 18 pounds each that month. I mean, true, they were the most cooperative of all of my clients at the time. I called in the ones who really wanted to do it and really wanted to stick to whatever I told them to do, were doing it. And I guess what that tells me is that somebody who does stick to a program, you know, very religiously, does lose weight, because it did work, and they all did. You know, 12 of them did, which really, really bolstered my confidence in what I was doing. But here goes again, you know, but what happened? What happened? They couldn't stick with it. I mean, they were ecstatic, you know, for a month or 2 or 3. I think a few of them went like 5 months doing it, but they couldn't stick to it. What happened? They got bored, they got clogged, and they got cranky. They got bored, clogged, and cranky. And I was also getting bored, clogged, and cranky. So I retreated back into my cave, I guess, my thinking cave. I read and researched and thought and asked around and did all kinds of things. And then I just put the principles together. And the first one is what you all know about this. The first one was that healthy foods are not always skinny foods. Okay, and those are the 3 things that I promised to talk about on this webinar. I said I would tell you 3 healthy foods that are not skinny foods, because healthy foods are not always skinny foods. That's what I learned the hard way. So what's the first one? Guess what? Yeah, it's oatmeal. Why did I pick oatmeal to talk about? Because so many of my new clients, now my graduates don't do this anymore, but so many of my new clients come and the breakfast is oatmeal. The breakfast they put down on their eating patterns, you know, when I first do an assessment, is oatmeal. And why? Because I think most people in this country believe that oatmeal is healthy and oatmeal helps them lose weight. The doctors tell them, eat oatmeal. You get a bypass and they say, eat oatmeal. You know, you're Bill Clinton and he's told to eat oatmeal. Now, why do people eat oatmeal? You know, because you all know this, because oatmeal has fiber. And fiber is one of those things that it's almost like a religion in this country. Eat fiber so you're not constipated. Because constipated is one of the #1 conditions, you know, of people in this country. And you look at what they eat and sure, you know, fiber would be a problem, but certainly oatmeal is not the answer. especially if you're constipated and overweight. I mean, oatmeal may be the answer for people who are not overweight, but it's, really oatmeal compared to dry cereal like cornflakes, oatmeal is certainly an improvement. And certainly compared to Fruit Loops or other sugar-filled cereals, all those boxes that you see walking down the middle aisles in the supermarket, oatmeal is totally, totally better than that. But it doesn't help you lose weight. In fact, it's fattening, and it doesn't matter if you go to Whole Foods and you buy steel-cut organic uh, oatmeal, or the best rolled whole oats in the bulk section. It's still fattening. If you make it yourself and you slave over the stove, it's still fattening. And why? Because it has too many carbs. It may have fiber, and fiber may be good, but it has too many carbs. 1/4 cup of oats will give you more carbs than you want to consume totally in one whole day. So if you eat that's 1/4 cup of oats. That means you only get half of a serving of oatmeal, because a regular serving of oatmeal is usually half a cup of oats. And then you add water or milk, and that would give you twice the amount of carbs that that's advisable for the whole day. And that's why oatmeal is fattening. Okay, enough about oatmeal. Next one, guess what? Splenda. And you might say, some of you, of course my graduates will say, oh, come on, Heidi, you know Splenda is not healthy. But you know something? There's a lot of opinion out there. A lot of people think that Splenda is a healthy artificial sweetener. They know, most people know that aspartame is toxic. Aspartame, it causes depression, it causes migraine, and now they're discovering that it causes cancer. But people say, oh, Heidi, no, Splenda's fine. And Splenda, and who popularized Splenda? It was Atkins. When Atkins really rode high, Splenda became really popular. Many people think that Atkins created Splenda, but it wasn't Atkins that created Splenda. He just used it, and use it a lot. Because why? Splenda has no calories, 0 calories. But let me tell you about Splenda. It is produced by chlorinating sugar. It is chlorinated sugar. And so what it is more like than sugar is DDT, because chlorinated molecules are the basis of pesticides like DDT. So if you're eating Splenda, then it's like you're eating a pesticide that tastes good. And well, people say, the counterclaim is, oh, Splenda goes through the body unabsorbed. So even though it's like DDT, we're not absorbing it. But the research is showing that, in fact, it is absorbed. Sucralose, which is the generic name for the active ingredient in Splenda, is absorbed. They're finding in the research labs that humans do absorb it. And that's why they're finding also that Splenda is fattening. In fact, according to the Consumers Research magazine, there is, and I'm quoting now, there is no clear-cut evidence that sugar substitutes are useful in weight reduction. On the contrary, there are some evidence that these substances may stimulate appetite. So even if there are 0 calories in Splenda, it is still a weight hazard. They also, Splenda, as well as the other artificial sweeteners, also increase carb cravings and stimulate fat storage. So never mind the toxicity. You say, okay, I don't care about the toxicity, but if you care about your looks, if you're vain, then if you eat those artificial sweeteners, you think you're doing yourself a favor, but that's probably the hidden reason why you're still craving carbs and that you still can't lose weight, because you know what? These artificial sweeteners, including Splenda, are addictive. And there are reports from people. There's no formal research that passes all of the rigorous criteria for research, but there are tons of case reports from people who have used Splenda, and the reports are about having heart palpitations, allergic reactions like redness in skin, itching, swelling, hives. Some people have seizures, others have migraines and dizziness. And one of the worst things is that it's been shown to reduce the amount of friendly bacteria, probiotics, in the intestines by 50%. 50%. And here we are doing our best. We're making kefir. We're doing all kinds of turning somersaults to get enough good probiotics, good bacteria in our colon, because that is one of the great secrets of weight loss as well as health combined. And here, people who think that they're doing themselves a favor by eating Splenda are reducing the probiotics in their intestines by 50%. Not good. In fact, the Sucralose Toxicity Information Center says, and I'm quoting, "It is clear that years of use may contribute to serious chronic immunological or neurological disorders." End quote. So, have I turned you off of Splenda? I hope so. If any of you are doing Splenda, I hope you're listening to this really closely. Okay, next one, pork. I'm from the Philippines, and Asians are big pork eaters. I know there are some of you, maybe many of you, who don't touch pork because either for religious or ethical reasons, or you just were brought up not eating pork. But let me tell you, I love pork, and the fact is that almost 40%, 38% of the world's meat production is pork. So, this fact really is relevant, to almost 40% of the world's population, and maybe some of you might benefit from it. I was really stunned about, how big the pork production is in this country. Now, there was a small study that was very carefully done in this fall's issue of the Weston Price Foundation Journal. It's called Wise Traditions. It's the journal of the Weston Price Foundation. And this study showed that there was a crucial difference between marinated and unmarinated pork. Marinated and unmarinated pork. Okay, and the study used pastured pork. This was a study of the Weston Price Foundation. So, and they're the big proponents of pastured everything. Pastured meaning animals who are not fed corn or soy, but they're put out to pasture. Chickens, lambs, cattle, and pigs are pastured. And it makes a huge difference in the fat composition of the meat. That's why we recommend pastured meat in the ER program. Now, all the pork that they used was pastured, whether it was marinated or unmarinated. And that's what really caught my attention. And let me show you. Pictures really are much better than words. Okay, this was done using, blood cell analysis. You're seeing the blood cells of a 52-year-old man who ate the pork, where they showed his blood cells before eating the pork. And here he was, a healthy 52-year-old man. Here was his blood before eating the pork. And this is plain pork, not marinated. Okay? And after eating the pork, here's what it was. That's the same blood of the same guy, healthy guy, and now it's all clumped together, because what they found was even with pastured pork, eating pork causes blood to coagulate, to clump together, to clot excessively. And they showed this by doing this dark blood cell analysis. And you can see it, and the white fibers there are what they call fibrin, which is not good, causes a lot of fatigue. So it was fatigue and coagulation of the blood that should not have happened. So what's the trick? Marinate it first. And what you do is you put the pork, the raw pastured pork, hopefully you're using pastured pork, or at least use pork with no antibiotics and no hormones. That is the lowest acceptable level, in the ER program. So you marinate it in unfiltered apple cider vinegar. So it's unfiltered is important, because if it's filtered, then you don't have the benefit of many of the enzymes that are still in filtered raw apple cider vinegar. Okay, so you marinate the pork for 24 hours. This is what they did in this study. And then they tested, they tested the blood of this guy, again, same guy, And there it was before eating the pork, which was marinated. And here it is after eating the pork, which was marinated. So you can see there's hardly any difference because the marination apparently cancels out whatever the negative effects, the causes of the negative effects are of the pork on our blood. So you can see, let me show you again. That's the blood after eating unmarinated pork. Okay, all clumped together, not good. And this is the blood after eating marinated pork. So I was blown away. I mean, I was blown away because I love pork and I didn't know that. I didn't know that until 3 months ago, when I read it, in this fall issue of Wise Traditions. And the nice part about the study was they found that salt also creates the same effect. So you can eat bacon and prosciutto and have the same effect as marinating. So if you like bacon and prosciutto, if you eat bacon and prosciutto, go right ahead and just satisfy yourself, because it will not create this blood clotting, coagulating effect, or the fatigue effect that unmarinated raw pork does. So remember, it's either apple cider vinegar or salt that can mitigate the effects or eliminate the effects of the negative effects of pork on blood. Okay, so those are the three, and I'll take questions after, at the end, and I'll stay here for as many questions as there are. But for now, let me go to the two. I also promised you two strategies, two skinny strategies that will help with weight loss. So the first one is really simple. You get up in the morning and you drink 2 cups of water first thing. Okay, don't drink tea, don't drink coffee, don't put anything in your mouth. You can brush your teeth, of course, you can take a shower if you like, but before you put anything else in your mouth, drink 2 cups of water, and preferably room temperature or warm, and certainly not tap water. Okay, and it's room temperature or warm because it's easier for the body to process water that is room temperature or warm. And why water? And some of you might say, well, it's to fill yourself up. It's an old weight loss trick. Drink water so your stomach fills up so you don't want to eat. You don't want to eat breakfast. That's not our reason here. You do want to eat breakfast. But it's because your body has used 1 to 2 quarts of water during the night to process the food you've eaten the previous day. So what you need is water to flush all of the debris out that the body has created at night from all the food processing it did during the night. Okay, and I find that when I tell people the reason for drinking these 2 cups of water, that people do it much more easily than if you just say drink 2 cups of water first thing in the morning. Okay, our body is 3/4 water. I'm sure many of you know that, and it is important to health and weight loss. So wake up in the morning, drink your 2 cups of water, and you're on your way. And of course, you drink more than that during the day. But starting with the 2 cups of water at least gets you a head start. There are clients and students of mine who started by confessing that they didn't even drink 1 cup of water all day. So water. And the second tip is have a food bag. Never leave home without your food bag. Now you say, on a weight loss program, what are you telling me, that I should take food with me all the time? Shouldn't I try to not think about food? No, in this program, a food bag is essential. You never leave home without it. And why is that? Because what that does is it allows you, it prevents you from being hungry. Because if you go hungry for more than 2 hours, your metabolism starts slowing down. And you don't want your metabolism to start slowing down. So if you have a food bag, you can pop a healthy snack in your mouth, some piece of raw cheese or an avocado, slice an avocado, which you put in your food bag with a knife, and a spoon. So there you are, you're all prepared for when you get hungry and all you can see is the McDonald's across the street. And I tell you, it's faster than going to any fast food place because you don't have to even drive there. Wherever you are, you're hungry, it's time for a snack, you have your food bag and you pop it in your mouth. I have been carrying a food bag with me probably for 20 years. It's my most favorite possession, should I say. And you can have a fancy bag, you know, it can be insulated to keep food fresh. You can have a wide mouth thermos to keep soups, you know, hot soups and foods with sauces if you really like that sort of thing. And I have all kinds of, you know, wide thermoses, insulated bags. I have a cold bag and a hot bag. But I also sometimes often just take a simple, you know, little simple paper bag and put some cheese in it. Or put an avocado with a knife and a spoon. That's one of my favorite snacks. You just, whenever you're hungry, you cut open the avocado with your knife and you eat it with a spoon. And I can tell you that celery and carrot sticks are not good snacks to carry around because you go through all this trouble to put them in your food bag. You eat them and half an hour later, if not sooner, you're hungry again. And why? Because they're mostly carb and water. So they don't give you any staying power in your stomach. They don't give you a lot of energy, which is what you're looking for, you know, when you're hungry. So remember, don't let yourself go hungry for more than 2 hours because your metabolism starts slowing down. It's not good to starve at all. You know, so reach into your food bag when you're hungry. But of course, you know, don't stuff yourself either. So the middle way is best. Don't let yourself go hungry and don't stuff yourself. Okay, those are the 2 tips. And now let me go to, let me tell you, you know, the program, the ER program is just filled with tips like this, you know, from selection of the kinds of food that really maximize fat burning, you know, to how to prepare them, how to eat them, when to eat them, all kinds of things, and customizes the plan to fit your particular metabolic type, you know, or biochemical type. So let me tell you, you know, what the program, what you would get if you register for the Fat Burn program, you know, which is the first cycle in the ER program. You would get 5 modules over 6 weeks. You get online audios that you can download onto your iPod or your iPhone, and you get transcriptions of the audios for all 5 modules. Okay? So module 1 is the basic eating plan, and in module 1 you also get your biochemical type, you get your metabolic type, you get the big food list, and you'll get menus, you know, meals, meal suggestions. Okay, module 2 is the superfoods. You know, superfoods are foods that concentrate nutrients, and you'll also get a progress tracker online. You get a food journal online, and we talk about how to use them so that you can use them to optimize your program. That's module 2. Module 3, you fine-tune your program. You're customizing your plan now. You're settled with and comfortable with the basic plan, and now you're customizing it to your particular biochemical conditions. Like if you have a weak thyroid, then you eat certain superfoods and you tweak your plan, your selection of foods in a certain way. If you have insomnia, you might do something about that. If you're a light metabolizer, you might include more fruits in your diet. If you're a fast metabolizer, you might experiment with the beast and blubber diet, or the beast and blubber version of this plan. So it's customizing your plan, and we have a number of tricks to control cravings if you still have cravings. It's very heartwarming for me whenever I hear after the first week people reporting that their cravings have gone away. Gone away, totally surprised. My God, they say, I don't even think of that ice cream anymore. I just don't even think of it. Anyway, there are tricks. If by module 3 the cravings are still there, then there are tricks to control them. Module 4 is to give you confidence. You know, we're eating very differently from what many people believe out there. You know, your friends may not agree with how you're approaching weight loss, and so there are a number of tricks to stay the course, strategies to stay the course, stay the ER course, stay with the principles, the strategies, the techniques, the foods, the ways of eating that you learned in the last 3 modules. And so when you go out, when you're social, you don't have to worry, that you may be thrown off course. And the last module is triumphant. Over pitfalls, there are often pitfalls. It's after you leave the program, what might happen? You get some emotional crisis. Who knows what might happen? Divorces, deaths, financial failures. These pitfalls are also weight falls, because once we get emotionally unbalanced, out comes the comfort food. But we talk about that, how to get over the pitfalls or the plateaus that invariably come, what survival tricks there are, and how to finally be in control. One of the other comments that I find very rewarding is when graduates tell me, Heidi, the best thing I like about this program, the reason I'm still here, it's 3 years, is that now I feel in control. If I want to pig out for a week because I'm celebrating my anniversary, I know that after I pig out, even if I gain 3 or 4 pounds, I can lose them immediately because I know what to do. I'm finally in control of my body. So those are the 5 modules. And in addition to the modules, to the PDFs and to the audios, you get an online forum so that you can chat with all the other participants who are doing the program and the graduates who might come to the forum. And I also monitor the forum and respond to questions when it's appropriate. You get your tracker and journal. It's your own private tracker that no one has access to, and your own private journal that you can use if you like to do that sort of thing. And it's yours, online. And the best part is that you get Vicki Link. She's our den mom, our ER den mom. Any weight loss program is a journey, and we often need support. There are bumps in the road, and Vicki is the most caring, competent person I know. She's just such an ideal den mom to get you over those humps, those rough spots. So that is the program. And so before we turn it over to questions and answers, why don't I ask Kim to talk about the program options, how you register. She knows much more about that kind of stuff. Kim?
Thank you very much. All right, guys. Well, let me just give you a 1-minute overview of what the options are, so you can be thinking about this while Dr. Heidi answers questions from people. So first of all, if you want to go to see what the options are, because you can't wait for me to go through them, although it's not going to be that long, here's the website, erfatburn.com/order. Please use that link, because then you avoid a lot of the traffic that's on the website. There's a lot of stuff on that website. Just go to erfatburn, like you see there, FATBURN, erfatburn.com/order with no spaces. Let me tell you quick what the options are. The first option, all the programs include, of course, the 5-week program. And the most deluxe option includes one that gives the person 4 private sessions with Dr. Heidi. She does these once a week, and they run between 30 minutes and an hour to really help you customize the program for yourself. Okay, and that runs for the sessions, it's $495 US. Okay, that's one option. And she usually has like 10 of those at a time, because it's a lot of work for her. So I don't think there are going to be more than 10 available this time either for that. Okay, and those, again, that's available at the bottom of the website there, erfatburn.com/order, ORDER. All right, the next option is a new one. Option 2 is one where you get the whole program, which includes, of course, all the online stuff, the audios, there's also videos, and of course the PDFs, so you can go at your own pace. But this time, you get 4 private sessions with an ER certified coach. There are several folks that, in fact quite a few, that Dr. Heidi has trained intensively for, I believe it's a 12-month program, and they are now ER certified coaches, so they know to do the things that she does. And because they're certified coaches and they're not Dr. Heidi, the cost is a little bit less. It's $347, and you can pick that option if you'd like to do that. Now the other option, this is one we've had for a while, except I'm going to add a twist to it. Option 3 is for the do-it-yourselfers, somebody who feels like they can do it themselves, thank you very much. Just give me the food list, give me the rules, give me the audios, the tapes, the, the yada yada, and I'm going to just do it. A lot of people do that because it's also the least expensive one, and you can come to the forums and whatnot. And that option is $197. Okay? So what we're doing today to encourage and entice and do whatever we can to ethically, I guess, bribe you to come into the program if you're thinking about you want to look good by Christmas, you want to look good by Thanksgiving, and you don't want to be there with your little bag of sprouts saying, well, you can't eat anything because this is what you're doing, carrots and sprouts, because on Dr. Heidi's program you're not going to be doing rabbit food. In fact, you learn how to eat at big fat dinners so that you don't look like you're some weirdo and make people embarrassed, and yet you are staying within the rules of your program that you want. The first 25 people who come into the program, we've set up a $100 discount for any of the programs. So if you want to do that and you go here at the bottom to order, you can get a discount on the Dr. Heidi consulting program. So instead of $495, it'll be $395. For the ER certified coach, instead of $347, it's $247. And for the multimedia, that is the do-it-yourself program, that's basically the online program. And you can take those audios and put them on your iPod or whatever MP3 player you've got, so you can take them with you. Instead of $197, that would be $97. Okay? So that's for the first 25 people or anybody who orders between now and midnight tonight Pacific time. That's how long those are set up. So I wanted you to know about that. And that is the end of the formal presentation. And what I'd like to do now is turn it over to Dr. Heidi and see if you have questions that you'd like to answer. And there are a couple ways Kathy says we can do this. Number one is you can type in your question in the box there, and Kathy will read it so Dr. Heidi can hear it and answer it. And if you would like to speak, like a normal person and say, hey, Dr. Heidi, what about this or that, then you can raise your hand, I think, and then she will unmute you, and then you can say your question instead of typing your question. So here's Dr. Heidi back. And Kathy, you want to see if anyone has any questions so far for Dr. Heidi?
Sure can. There's no written questions, and I do not see any hands raised now. So it's a good time to do that, guys. So ask away. Oh, we did actually, Heidi, have a question. This person left. I'll go ahead and let you know what it was. He wanted to know if you subscribe to the body types. And let me see if I still have his question up here. I may have deleted it because it showed he left.
Well, this will be recorded anyway, Kathy, right? So people who left can,
yes,
if we answer their question,
okay,
can hear it on the recording.
Exactly. Yeah, he just wanted to know if you subscribe to the diets based on the different body types.
Well, what we do in ER is different versions of the plan based on metabolic type. And by metabolic type, there are 5 metabolic types in this program. Fast metabolizers, mixed fast metabolizers, balanced, mixed light metabolizers, and light metabolizers. So it's a spectrum that's really defined by the amount of carbohydrates that that you can consume or would be good for one's body to consume. So in a sense that's a body type, but I don't know if that's the body type he was referring to. We also do biochemical profiles based on 8 variables that are related to weight loss, like the degree of malnutrition, the essential fatty acid condition of the body, allergies. There are 8 variables like that. So there are classifications that we assess for each of the participants that then guide the program.
Okay. We have a question from Gloria. Wants to know if you use stevia as a sweetener.
Oh yes, stevia is our sweetener of choice if one does need a sweetener. Yes, stevia is very good. And there are now, because stevia has become so popular, there are all kinds of qualities of stevia. So you really have to be careful, that you get the pure stevia and not not say something like Truvia, which is cut with, synthetic ingredients, that Coca-Cola puts out, or the big companies put out, because they're just going with the demand of the consumers. People know stevia. It's like organic has gone mainstream, so stevia has also gone mainstream. So yes, we are very much in favor of stevia. It helps control blood sugar, but be careful that you have the high quality stevia, pure stevia.
We have a couple of folks that are trying to purchase the program already, and they are saying that the bonus is not working, the discount code. They said it's invalid.
Let me ask Kim about that, because I know nothing about the technology. Hang on one second. The discount code isn't working. I mean, the bonus code isn't working. It's the word bonus. Yeah. Yeah. Are they using all lowercase?
They heard what you're saying. Okay, they said the message is, sorry, the coupon code you have entered is invalid. Please check your code and try again. And they are both saying they are using all lowercase. Yes.
That they're using all lowercase, and they're saying that the coupon code is invalid. They're getting a message saying the coupon code is invalid. One sec.
Well, how about
which option are they? Which option are they wanting?
Which option are you guys wanting? They haven't responded yet. Option 3 for 1.
Option 3, okay.
3 and 3. Yeah.
Okay, they're both option 3.
All 3.
Okay.
There's 3 of them.
Okay, let me look into it. We're looking into it right now, and if you just hold on for a couple of minutes while we answer maybe another question.
Sure. Okay. We have one person that wants to know how long it takes to see results on the scale. Often when they tried these things, then when there's no results, let's say in a month, they're off the program.
Oh my goodness. Most of the ER fat burn people have results in a week. High score that I remember, was 19 pounds in a week.
Oh.
But, that was high score. And she wanted to lose 35, and she lost the 35. I think she lost 27 in the 5 weeks of the program, and lost 35, just a month later.
Wow.
Kept it off.
That's great.
So, but now that's high score. So the usual is in the first week. Usually the average is like 5 pounds in the week. It could be, of course, it can be as low as 1 or 2. That's not common, and as high as 10. And that's common.
Okay. We have a couple more questions. Do you recommend agave nectar?
No. No, because agave is mainly fructose, and fructose is very dangerous for health. It affects the liver. In fact, it impacts weight loss quite negatively. It's addictive. So no, it is the darling of vegans, and of vegetarians, and it again comes with a lot of positive marketing press. But I have looked into it, and I do not recommend it.
Okay, and last question we have.
By the way, Kathy, I'm hearing here. Kathy, tell the two guys to refresh and try it again.
Okay, they
try the bonus again.
Okay, they just heard you tell them. So,
okay, good. Okay.
So refresh and try it again, guys, and let us know the results. One last question we have here. I eat very well, but since I stopped menstruating, I've gained 15 pounds. Belly is enlarged. Constipation is a problem as well.
Yes. Yes. Well, since we don't have time to really ask what you've been eating, yes, there are quite a number, of women who come with that issue, and sometimes it's after childbirth. It's a hormonal issue, and so we have to be quite specific, about how to implement the program. The basic program works to help that condition. but we can even zero in on more specific strategies to address hormonal issues, because that is a hormonal issue. Yes? Hello? I lost,
No, I'm back. I'm back. I had muted myself because I was typing an answer. Sorry. um,
oh,
what
okay. Sorry.
what foods are good for removing belly fat?
Well, it's not the foods you eat, but it's the foods that you don't eat. Um, the carbohydrates are the biggest culprit for belly fat. Eat fat, but eat good fats. So good fats are coconut oil, organic coconut oil, uh, any fats from pastured animals, like if you like steaks, as long as they're 100% grass-fed steaks or hamburgers or 100% grass-fed chickens, pastured chickens, eat the skin. Uh, do not peel the skin off. Eat the animal fat and cut down as much as you can on the carbs. Any kind of carbs. It doesn't matter if it's whole wheat, bread, of course the refined carbs, but any carbs like whole wheat, bread, brown rice, oatmeal like we were talking about, even fruit. If the person is a fast metabolizer, then fruit will be very fattening and will contribute to the belly fat. It's only the people who are light metabolizers, like those who wake up in the morning and don't get hungry for a long time and have light appetites. That's the most general description without going into it more specifically. Those people, the light metabolizers, are the ones who can eat fruit on the program and not get fat. Whereas the fast metabolizers, the ones who are, have a healthy appetite, who if they don't eat a meal get irritable like that, those are the fast metabolizers, and they should not eat fruit. That will contribute to belly fat. They should not eat sugar, any kind of sugar, and cut down the carbs as much as they can, and even as certainly including starchy vegetables like potatoes and yams, even peas and corn should not be eaten. Just stick to, if you're going to eat vegetables, lettuce and spinach, the green leafy non-starchy vegetables. Stay off the fruit and go to town on 100% grass-fed animals. Raw cheese is another wonderful food, to get rid of belly fat, and because you can eat it as a snack and not be hungry. But it has to be raw. You cannot do pasteurized cheese because that is fattening. I'm sorry, pasteurized. Ask for raw cheese, unpasteurized cheese. Okay, that means cheese from unpasteurized milk. They carry that at Whole Foods, but also at local farmers markets. But you have to ask for it specifically. Eat butter, eat raw cream. All of that works for belly fat. Okay. Any other questions, Kathy?
That's my kind of program.
Yeah, it's mine too.
I mean, I'm telling you, before I even knew about your program, I was one of those people that could pull open the refrigerator and slice a pat of butter and eat it and just be happy as a clam. And my daughters would go by and go, "Oh, you're eating butter! Oh my gosh!" I was like, "No, yeah, this is good stuff."
Oh gosh, you are a gal after my own heart.
Oh.
I mean, so many people do exactly like your daughters did. Yuck, In fact, I was having dinner with a couple of friends, and I had to dare them to do the butter because they just wouldn't do it. I told them better eat the butter than the bread that they're serving.
Mm-hmm. Well, going back to the questions, there was a question about any cheeses that you can't eat on the program, and I know you just said raw, but maybe this person was wondering if there's any type of various, like Swiss versus cheddar versus...
No, you eat raw cheese. Do not eat pasteurized cheese. And it can be cheddar, Swiss, any cheese as long as it's raw.
Okay.
And then also make sure that you can digest cow's cheese. Cow's cheese is harder to digest than sheep or goat. So if you have a delicate digestion, you might want to ask for raw sheep or goat cheese. versus cow cheese. But if you have a strong digestion, go right ahead. You can eat any kind of cheese as long as it's raw.
Okay. We have Dr. Quila has indicated the most rewarding part of the program was for her to learn what kind of body type she had and to find out that cooked cheese was not healthy for us.
Ah.
Um,
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Quila. It was
for the audience who may not be seeing Kim's chat to everyone, she is reporting she has fixed the code. Those of you who have already purchased and did not get a refund, she is indicating that the refund will be processed to your credit card this evening. Okay, I don't see any other questions. We do have one hand raised, but I'm not sure that sometimes hands get raised because of a glitch in their computer. Dell, do you want to ask? Not Dell. That went away. Oh, she took her hand down, or he took her hand down. Never mind. Okay, we have some more comments coming in. With weight loss, how do you avoid loose skin?
You do the ER fat burn program.
Okay.
No, that was facetious. But if you, if you don't do a starvation diet, or if you don't do, a liquid protein diet, if you do a essentially clean, low carb approach like we do at ER, and follow it like we do with a detox, because what you do is what we do is we do around a fat burn, a round or two. That means 1 to 2 to 3 months of fat burn, and then we do a detox, which then clears the body of all the debris of all that fat burning that has been going on. And so between those two, your body is in really radiant condition. So I have never heard anyone complain about loose skin, when they follow the fat burn program. And even if they just do the fat burn before even they do the detox, loose skin has never been an issue, because somehow what you do is you retain the muscle. You do not lose muscle, you lose fat. And that's why athletes, I had a professional Venezuelan soccer player, who came not to lose weight but to lose fat. He lost a few percentage points of fat, and he was so impressed he had his diabetic father sign up for the program. And just recently I had a student at JFK who wanted more definition in his six-pack. He already was at 9% fat. Fat percentage was 9%, which is way low. Gorgeous guy. And he went down to 7%, and he was happy. He was a dancer model who really wanted some definition. But anyway, it's because you lose fat and you don't lose muscle. You're toning your muscle at the same time that you're losing fat.
Okay. One question relates to whether you use whey protein or not.
Yes, you can. It's not our first choice. Our first choice is for people to make their own kefir, and kefir comes from raw milk, either goat or cow, and it provides the probiotics as well as the milk, because you're doing it from milk. Now, if somebody cannot do that, or doesn't want to take the time, or doesn't want to learn how to do that, it's fairly easy. I do it every day myself. Then you do whey protein, yes, and we recommend a couple of really clean whey protein powders that are manufactured at very low temperatures, so all of the nutrients are preserved. There are many whey proteins on the market, and you have to really be careful about what you're buying. Usually the whey proteins that are sold at gyms are designer proteins, but they're really quite highly toxic. So yes, we are in favor of whey proteins as long as you know what you're as long as you're using a high quality one.
What about non-GMO soy protein?
No, soy, even though it's non-GMO, soy is not good. Even organic soy non-GMO soy has goitrogens, which affect the thyroid. It has other, it attacks the enzymes in the body. We go through this, in Module 4 of the program, and I give you all the information you want on why soy in any form is not recommended.
We have a question on if you are on a cholesterol drug, what about the fat intake?
Oh, the fat intake is excellent for, for cholesterol. I can't tell you all the research now, but again in Module 4 we go through all of the research that supports eating of course, the right kinds of fat, including the right kinds of animal fat, the right kinds of saturated fat, the right kinds of non-saturated fat. If you know what you're doing with fat, that helps the cardiovascular condition. 50% of the fat that surrounds the heart is saturated. And I can tell you that the body has to make saturated fat in the people who refuse to eat it. So you might as well eat the right kinds of saturated fat and save your body all that trouble. But that's why we have the private consultations, because if a doctor has told one of the participants not to eat saturated fat, then I do not want to go against that recommendation, unless the student, the member decides themselves. All I can do is give the research backing, a position, but I cannot say you should do it, because I would not be acting appropriately. I can tell you that our recommendations to eat animal fat include reasons that support cardiovascular health. I mean, I was, myself, I'm very, very attuned to health because I had cervical cancer over 30 years ago, and I vowed I would never go into a hospital again. And so I'm very, very attuned to what it takes, to keep the body healthy, including not just cancer, but, cardiovascular conditions, diabetes, Alzheimer's, brain conditions.
Heidi, does the butter that you eat have to be on from grass-fed cows? Does the milk?
That is ideal. In the ER program, we recommend 3 to 4 levels of quality, and the highest level of quality for butter is raw pastured butter. But acceptable butter is organic butter, because toxins and pesticides concentrate in the fat. Mm-hmm. So you must have at least organic butter. It does not have to be raw or pastured, but at least organic. That is the lowest level of butter to use. And if that's the case, you can use as much butter as you want. Now, of course, if you have raw pastured butter, then is when you can really snack on butter and not worry about anything.
I had to go find some of that.
Oh gosh, yes. Go to your farmers markets. Usually there are farmers. If you have a farmers market, if you don't see a farmer selling it, ask around, and they'll point you to who makes the pastured butter. Farmers markets are a wonderful resource.
I'm already dreaming of my dessert that's going to be grass-fed butter with stevia and that was a question I had for you. Chocolate, unsweetened cocoa that you can make your own chocolate desserts with. So
totally. In fact, on the fat burn site is a chocolate recipe. Mm. Yeah, definitely. One of the students created a recipe for chocolate with I believe it was coconut oil, stevia, and of course unsweetened dark organic chocolate. Mm-hmm.
That sounds like the dessert I made recently. Ate it every night. Oh yeah, it was good.
Kathy, you fit right in.
It's my little bonbons, have them around. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they were good.
Yeah, put it in your food bag.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We don't have any more questions on the board. Oh, here comes one. Does the program accommodate individual food restrictions?
Totally, totally. It's a program that really recognizes the uniqueness of people. And so we even, although it's hard, we even do take, vegetarians. And